Welcome to Mehetabel Counseling Services YouTube channel. My name is Faith Kushu, a counseling psychologist, marriage and family therapist. Have you ever maybe been told something by a child, then you dismissed them, you didn't listen, you beat them, or you told them to keep quiet? Let's go back to early childhood, where most of these things happen. And today we will discuss about defilement, where a child was defiled in childhood by their significant others, an uncle, an auntie, a house girl, a houseboy. But when they tried to communicate, you either didn't listen, you told them to keep quiet so that you don't embarrass the family. So when that happens, defilement happens in childhood, and it happens, but I'll talk about it in childhood, where an uncle, an aunt, a house girl, a houseboy took advantage of this child, thereby having sex with them, touching them inappropriately, telling them to do things that the child shouldn't do to a human being or even to a grown-up, and there was no platform for this child to speak about it. So when a child realizes that either the parent, and I'll give maybe an example of, you've been very busy and you leave a girl child with the house boys, or you've been very busy and you leave the boys with the house girls. So when that happens, this child, two things or many things happen, but I'll talk about two things that happen. The child gets very scared, or the child gets very resentful. So a child loses their being at that state because they realize someone took advantage of them, but there was no primary caregiver to protect them from this person. Their thing is, they can and this can continue for so long, for about 2 years, 3 years. So the child gets used to being defiled. So the first thing they lose their virginity, they lose their purity. And these children are the same children who are going maybe to church, to Sunday school, and the preacher there drum it to them how pure they need to be, and yet their purity was taken away by someone very close to the family, and nothing happened to them. So as a parent, have you ever been told something by a child and you ignored? So when this person grow up, you will realize you don't have a relationship, because they feel this person, the parent, either the mother or the dad, did not protect them from the person who raped them, from the person who defiled them. They grow up resentful of the primary caregiver who ought to have taken care of them. The other thing that happen, they devalue themselves and either grow up with one thing. They want to revenge. If it's a woman, and I'll talk about both gender, because both gender get defiled. If it's a man who was defiled, either homosexually or even the normal way, when they grow older, they want to revenge, and they want to do it to other people without necessarily them knowing that they are acting out on what happened to them, because it was traumatic around that area, around that time. Or if it's a woman, in fact, maybe both. You later on in your life get married to someone who is low below your space, simply because you think you don't deserve a better person because of what happened to you in childhood. Then later on you realize, I married low, or I got married low. So it is as parents, when our children communicate to us, when they give us the non-verbals, are we too busy to listen? Are we too busy to see? it's good to, and the eyes speak. If there's something, anybody part that speaks, it's the eyes. So is it possible to spend a minute, spend 2 minutes, and ask your children how they are doing emotionally, what are their thoughts and what are their fears, so that you create a platform for these children to communicate about what is happening in their life. Because defilement later on in life, now at the age, if you are defiled at the age of 9 years, if you are defiled at the age of 2 years, if you are defiled at the age of 8 years, when you get a child that age, you start getting anxious. If you have not addressed that issue, you start getting anxious. What if? And in fact, some people even leave work. What if my child is defiled like I was defiled? What if my child is taken advantage of like I was taken advantage of? So it's good to seek help if that happened to you, so that it doesn't bring, it is not counterproductive later on in your life. Thank you so much for watching. That's all for today. Kindly subscribe, share, and comment. Thank you.